We remember history for those who built empires and those who destroyed them. But the most important stories of our world belong to people you have never heard of. Men and women who never sought fame, power, or wealth. In the darkest moments of modern history, when humanity stood on the very brink of total annihilation, the fate of billions of lives hung on the decision of a single person, under strict military protocol, with a single finger hovering over a red button. In this video, we reveal 3 incredible stories of forgotten heroes from the shadows. Individuals who, by following their own reason and pure humanity, literally saved the world. Welcome to the story of the heroes that history almost forgot. Chapter 1. The Man Who Chose Silence. September 26th, 1983. The world was frozen in the depths of the Cold War. Inside a secret Soviet bunker near Moscow, the silence was suddenly shattered. Red lights began to flash. The sirens wailed, loud and terrifying. Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov sat at his station, staring at his monitor. The computerized early warning system showed a single chilling word: launch. The system reported that the United States had just fired a nuclear missile directly at the USSR. Within seconds, the screen changed. 2 missiles, 3, then 4. Finally, 5 nuclear missiles were detected, racing across the Atlantic Ocean. Protocol was absolute. Petrov's duty was to immediately report this to the highest command. A massive retaliatory strike would be launched within less than 10 minutes. The bunker was filled with sheer panic. Officers were shouting, waiting for his call. Petrov looked at the flashing lights. He knew that the Soviet military doctrine demanded an immediate, total response. No questions asked. If he followed the rules, hundreds of nuclear missiles would lift from their silos within 5 minutes. He stared at the flashing red word, launch. He later admitted that his legs turned to jelly and he could barely breathe. If he picked up the phone, it would be the absolute end of human civilization. But Petrov hesitated. Something felt wrong. He knew the satellite system was brand new and highly prone to errors. He also knew that if America was starting a war, they would launch hundreds of missiles, not just 5. He reasoned that 5 missiles made no sense. It was too small for a first strike. It had to be a computer glitch. He had to make a choice. Trust the computer or trust his own human instinct. With his heart pounding, Petrov picked up the phone and reported a false alarm. He lied to his superiors, gambling the fate of the entire planet on a single guess. Then came the most agonizing 15 minutes in human history. He sat in total silence, waiting to see if his country would be vaporized. Every second felt like an eternity. If an explosion hit Moscow, he would die, knowing he failed to protect his homeland. Finally, the timer hit 0. The horizon remained dark. There were no explosions. Petrov was right. The system had mistaken the sun's reflection on the clouds for missiles. He did not receive a medal. He lived the rest of his life in obscurity. But on that fateful night, he saved billions of lives. He chose humanity over protocol. In 2017, Stanislav Petrov passed away in a quiet Russian town, largely forgotten by history. Yet, every human life today is a direct result of the choice he made in that cold September night. Chapter 2: The Angel of Prague. Sometimes saving the world doesn't mean stopping a missile. Sometimes it means refusing to let darkness swallow innocent souls. December 1938. A young British stockbroker named Nicholas Winton was preparing for a skiing holiday. But right before he left, a friend called him from Prague, asking for urgent help. When Winton arrived in Czechoslovakia, he witnessed a terrifying reality. The Nazi army was preparing to invade, and thousands of Jewish families were trapped in desperate conditions. Nobody was doing anything to save the children. The world was looking away. Winton saw the look of pure terror in the eyes of the parents. They knew their time was running out, and they begged him to take their children. He realized that the official rescue organizations were moving too slowly. Bureaucracy was sealing the fate of these innocent souls. Winton knew he couldn't just walk away. He decided to act completely on his own. From his hotel room in Prague, he organized a massive, secret rescue operation. He forged travel documents, bribed Nazi officials, and found British families willing to adopt the children. He worked day and night, barely sleeping. He faced constant threats from the Gestapo, who were watching his every move. On March 14th, 1939, the first train secretly left Prague, carrying hundreds of desperate children. The scenes at the station were heartbreaking. Parents were pushing their crying children through the train windows, knowing they would never see them again. Over the next few months, Winton successfully organized 8 trains, running right under the noses of the Gestapo. He saved exactly 669 children from certain death in Nazi concentration camps. Then the war broke out. Winton returned to England, went back to his normal life, and told absolutely no one. For 50 years, he kept this incredible secret. even from his own wife. Until one afternoon, 50 years later, his wife Greta found an old scrapbook in the attic. Inside were the names and photographs of every single child he had saved. Nicholas Winton did not see himself as a hero. He simply believed it was the right thing to do. Today, more than 6,000 people are alive because of his quiet, immense courage. Chapter 3: The Lone Vote. October 1962. The world was on the absolute knife edge of a nuclear war. The Cuban Missile Crisis was at its peak. Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, a Soviet submarine was hiding. The submarine was surrounded by American warships. They began dropping signaling depth charges to force the sub to surface. Inside the Soviet sub, the conditions were hell. The temperature rose above 50 degrees Celsius, and the oxygen was running out. Men were fainting from the heat. The air was thick with carbon dioxide, and the sailors felt like their lungs were burning. The constant explosions of the American depth charges shook the entire hull. Every blast felt like the metal walls were about to cave in. The crew was trapped in total darkness, cut off from all communication with Moscow. They believed that World War III had already begun. The captain ordered the preparation of a nuclear torpedo. Its target was the American aircraft carrier above. The captain screamed that they would die anyway, but they would take the enemy down with them. Panic and anger completely filled the command room. To launch the weapon, all 3 senior officers on board had to agree. The captain said yes. The second officer said yes. Only one man stood between humanity and total destruction: Vasili Arkhipov. A massive argument broke out inside the suffocating dark submarine. The other officers called him a coward. They pressured him, telling him he was betraying his country by refusing to fight. Arkhipov remained completely calm. He refused to approve the launch. He argued that the American depth charges were a warning, not an attack. He stood his ground against his superiors and forced the submarine to surface peacefully. If Arkhipov had given in, a global nuclear war would have burned the planet to ashes. He chose patience when everyone else chose panic. When the submarine finally returned to the Soviet Union, the crew faced no hero's welcome. Instead, they were met with deep humiliation and anger from the military elite. One high-ranking official even furiously told the crews it would have been better if you had gone down with your ships rather than allowing yourselves to be forced to the surface. Archipov's miraculous intervention was treated with intense suspicion. To protect the military's parade, the entire incident was classified as a strict state secret, buried deep within the dark vaults of the Soviet archives for decades. In 1998, Vasili Arkhipov passed away in complete anonymity. He died a regular retired officer, unknown to the public. He never received a single medal from his country for saving the world. It took exactly 40 years for the truth to be declassified. In 2002, Vadim Orlov, an officer who was inside that very submarine, finally broke the silence and revealed the terrifying drama to the world. Upon hearing the shocking details, Thomas Blanton, the director of the U.S. National Security Archive, uttered the famous words that echoed across the globe. A man named Vasili Arkhipov saved the world. 3 ordinary men, Stanislav Petrov, Nicholas Winton, and Vasili Arkhipov. They lived in different times. They fought different shadows. They did not wear capes, and they never sought the global spotlight. Yet, when the entire world was pulling toward darkness and destruction, these 3 individuals pulled back. They prove that history is not just shaped by powerful politicians or massive armies. It is shaped by the quiet courage of a single human being, refusing to give up their humanity. Their legacy is not written in gold or stone. It is written in the heartbeat of every person alive today. Because without them, our story would have ended a long time ago. But their stories are not just history. They are a mirror for us today. These 3 heroes were faithful in the small things of their everyday lives. That is why, when the ultimate test came, they had the strength to save the world. We might never be called to save the world on a global scale, but we are called to bring light to the places where we live, where we work, and in our own homes. How we will react if a moment of crisis ever comes tomorrow depends entirely on how we treat the people around us today. Which of these 3 forgotten heroes inspired you the most to be a force for good in your own life? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching History, Society, and Civilization. And remember, even in the darkest times, you have the power to make a difference. Subscribe for more historical mysteries.